Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. And we are back here with Sir Dante Marcellus and Zorra. Sorry we kept all of our listeners waiting so long.
Your listeners, you've kept me waiting to answer this question.
Kept you holding for a very long time, didn't we?
It's always the submissive that gets put in a corner and not able to talk.
Okay, so just to recap, what was the question?
The question was, is he strict on rules or lenient?
Well, I have to agree with what he said in the last podcast. When he says something, he means it. And to be honest with you, that's one of the best characteristics about Sir Dante in his whole life. If that man says something, if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it, including repercussions.
No.
But strict on rules and things like that. What I know is that when Sir Dante sat down to write the contract for us, he spent a lot of time thinking about what should go in there, where it should go, and how it should be worded. So, yes, he is strict in some of his, in some of the rules and some of the things that we have. But what I know is that he thought about it, and it's there for a reason.
It's important to him.
It is. It's very important. And of course, after he presented this contract to me, it became our contract because we signed it both. We both agreed to it.
Was there negotiation involved?
Yes, there was negotiation on some of those things. And like we said in the last episode, there's change orders. And I mean, the last change order that we decided, the one topic that we had, it took us 4 iterations of that change order to finally agree on the wording that would make it into the contract.
Wow.
So we take our DS very seriously. And so our contract is really kind of the written rules, the poetry that we've made with it. So it's important what it says.
So basically what I'm picking up is Mr. Gray ain't got shit on Sir Dante.
Absolutely. Because
No.
he had a legal team do it, and it was more legal than reality.
No, to us, this is legal. This is
Absolutely
our law.
to you all, yeah. But it seems like a lot more thought and a lot more design went into their contract than what me and you have in ours, which again goes back to BDSM in general. Not everybody's is the same. I could not take your contract and make it work for us, for me and Lady D.
So many times people are out there, and when they hear like, "Hey, you've got a contract," and they're like, "Great, we want one. Can you give us yours? Can you give us the template?" And the answer is, you could probably have a whole podcast on how to write a contract.
Oh, we're
because
going to.
No two are the same, and they're really individualized. So there's lots of things to be said about how you figure out what's important to you.
That is a future podcast for us, contract negotiations. But again, just like you said, we can give ideas and we can give, some of our examples. But again, what works for us is not going to work for you two, and it's not going to work for anybody else out there that is listening, that is getting into a relationship of dominant, submissive.
So I remember the comment about black and white, right? So you're very black and white. Tell me an instance where, if you don't mind, where that impacted your DS relationship because you had something and it was black or white.
Actually, one of these times was during a game that you put together we were playing.
I'm going to take fault.
Yes, definitely your fault. at Club Tempted.
You've actually taken fault numerous times on some of her punishments, by the way.
Yeah, you have.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
Okay.
you've gotten her in
Go
trouble
ahead.
a couple times. So the part of the game was to get $1 to kiss someone,
Right.
and we have very, again, black
It was
and
a
white
scavenger
script.
pleasure hunt.
It was that scavenger hunt, right? And she had a
You just have to understand that when Lady D makes a game and somebody says go, you get your first
Right.
assignment, and it is it is a fury. Everyone is running, and they're doing like her games are so crazy and intense. So I was wrapped up completely in the
we were all
moment.
having a blast.
I
Yeah.
was
Been there,
so
done
ready,
that.
and so I had my first assignment, and my first assignment was
she had to basically sell a kiss for $1 and get $1 from someone for a kiss. In our contract, it's very black and white what she's allowed to do with others and what she's not allowed to do, and when she needs permission and when she doesn't, and with who or
Did
not
she
with
ask
who.
permission that
She
night?
did not.
Oh no.
So we're upstairs, and I'm playing the game with y'all, but I look down over the balcony, and she had run downstairs to find someone to kiss, and she did, and she
yes,
got her
I
$1.
did. I did.
But she did not get permission.
I did not get permission. And so, excitedly, with my first task done, you have to run upstairs, and Lady D has got to sign off on it. So, I am on my way to see Lady D. I am running upstairs. I'm not watching. And as I come across the threshold, Sir Dante is waiting for me right there at the door of VIP. And he grabs my throat.
Did you know? Did you know at that point
No,
that you had?
I was so into the game
Yep.
that was what I was supposed to do, that I wasn't watching. And so when I came by, Sir Dante grabs me by the throat. He pinned me up against the wall, and he made sure that I knew that I had committed an infraction. And so once again, also in our contract, what I can do, but also what is very prescribed is what the punishment for that was.
Yeah. Okay, we're done talking. I hate you both. Thank you and good night.
Well, we play pretty hard, and it's kind of like the freedoms and the fun that we have, and then the rules we've agreed to. So, you play hard, and sometimes you lose hard. And so, anyways, in this instance, it was 7 hits with a paddle. And these are not warmed up. These are not anything pleasant. These are
Punishment.
It's a punishment. It's meant to correct a behavior because I didn't follow the contract. So yeah,
She'll never do that again.
yeah,
Probably
So yeah,
But I can add a quick little note here that I
Side
do know
comment.
side note. I do know how intense them games get because just for example, I turned down a blowjob for one of my tasks. I am competitive.
It may not have been a full blowjob.
It may not have been
was
a full
fluff.
blowjob.
Right.
They
It
were
was- yeah, it
willing
was a
to fluff him.
But one of my tasks for that scavenger hunt, and again, I'm a competitor. I want to win. I'm going to win. I don't
you
give
two
a
have
shit
always,
what happens.
Sir Dante
I'm going
and
to win.
Master Nick have been top.
top tier
Every
on all those
time.
games.
My task was to have someone take a picture of me naked. And so I grabbed this person and we went off to a playroom to get this picture. And on the way in, I was making a joke. I said, "Don't laugh as you take this picture." And she's then just immediately turned around and said, "Do you want me to fluff you first?" And my response was, "No, just take the picture." So I was furious. It didn't hit me. We finished out the night. Driving home that night, I slammed down my hand on the steering wheel and I went, "Fuck." Lady D,
Scared
of course,
me.
Missed
went,
that
"What's wrong?
opportunity.
What happened?"
What
I said,
happened? What's going on?
"I turned down a fucking blowjob."
Did you win that night?
I was gonna
I
say
did win
I was
that
gonna
night.
say
It was worth
you've
it. Yes,
won
it was worth
before,
it.
so
I did win that night. So yes, it was a good feeling to win, but now I really regret it. I'd have come in second or third or even last place for that.
I bet
fact.
Zorra regrets it too.
Probably does.
I regret that I didn't win the game that night because those 7 hits took quite a while.
Which could be why I won that night too, and he was way back.
Busy.
Dante, are you willing to share some of your rules out of that very thick binder there?
I am.
Okay.
So I will preface it with, we actually have a rule within our contract that we only discuss details of the contract essentially when it's appropriate with, say, another partner or
Right.
whatnot, or when we agree.
So
I do
you're
know-
trying to, I recognize that the reason that you're doing this for us is to educate others. So
Yes.
Because
100%.
I will say that I have asked before, can I see your because again, I'm intrigued.
And this
that
is the
there's
first
that
time we're
much-
seeing
That's
it.
the first, other than the
Can
night.
you read it from over there?
I cannot. Other than the night you give it to her, which is what I was like, holy shit, I want to know what all's in there. So I have asked, and I do know you all have talked about it and respectfully have said, we can't do it. And of course, I understand that. I get that. But it's just, it's the fascination of my imagination is running wild because I know your mind thinks in so creative ways, especially when it comes to BDSM, that I'm very intrigued to know what's in there. So any information you are willing to talk about will be greatly appreciated.
So I want to talk about, because it's been brought up on this podcast before and just in BDSM in general, is safe words. So just like everyone else, we have safe words.
Yes.
And we use the stoplight system. We use red, yellow, green. I think you'll do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yes.
So much simpler.
Yeah. But I want to emphasize that red, yellow, and green is not the same for everyone.
Correct.
Our reds are the same. Our yellows are far from the same.
Okay.
Okay.
So a rule with the yellows is I'm actually allowed to take the yellows away whenever I choose to. I can't do it after she's already called one.
Right.
But I could say, like,
That's good.
for this scene, you're not allowed to use
for
yellow.
this scene, I could say a week or a month or the next 10 minutes or
I
these
like it.
3 hits. You can't call a yellow. You're going to take these 3 hits.
I like
there,
that
There
too.
was a time very early on, and this was one of those things where at the very beginning, he showed me exactly how dominant he was. He sent me a message that said, I need you to call me. So I had to get up and I had to go and call him. It took me 3 minutes to return his call. And once we were finished with the conversation, I received another text, which was, tonight in our scene, I do not have to listen to your first 3 yellows.
A yellow for each minute.
And as a submissive, we both know that our objective is not to say red. We don't
Right.
want to go
Right.
there.
No.
It's
And
not.
I don't want to push.
You know,
someone
you
through
heard
either.
me do it on the podcast last time because I didn't want another hit while live on the show. But we don't like, and I don't want to say that red is for a very specific purpose.
Right.
When you safe word red in our group, it is you're done.
You're
It's
done. It's full stop.
And so we don't want to do that. I don't want you to take me down. I'm enjoying myself. I just may not be enjoying what you're doing this minute. And so yellow is a big important part of this in our world, right? Because it lets us let you know that it's pushing us close to our edge. So taking that away, it could be a good thing because it can make you go further than you thought you could.
That's actually exactly why I generally take them away. Is we play very heavy, very hard. We push each other's boundaries physically and mentally. And when I can get her in a headspace, in that subspace where I can push those boundaries, taking yellows away, like you said, no one wants to call a red, no one wants to call a red. But if I
Right.
take those yellows away, in her head, she's I'm
knows
going to
she's
take
gonna
it.
Right.
I'm going to take it, whatever.
In that scenario, I remember playing. It was so early on. We were still over at your old house, and I was strapped down to the kitchen table. And every time I wanted to get close to calling a yellow, I knew that I was going to have to call yellow 2 more times before he would listen to me. And that mindset was like, oh gosh, I'm going to have to call yellow a lot before he's going to have to pay attention. That mindset pushed me that night.
Right.
And I ended up with the most beautiful welts and bruises that night. And that was one of the deepest places in subspace that I had ever been, because in essence, that arrangement didn't let the yellow be right on the tip of my tongue.
Right.
And
That's
pushed me further.
I can picture Lady D in that situation. Here's what she would do. Yellow, 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 yellow.
oh, because you heard my red, red, red.
Yeah, red, red, red.
Also call bullshit on her yellows when I know they're bullshit.
And sometimes I do.
respect them.
Right.
Our rules.
Right.
But she calls yellow, and I know when she's just calling it to be calling it and being
Right.
sassy or bratty.
That is a real good point, and that is a real good rule. And for our listeners, especially if you're new, again, it's all about communication and having those safe words. But also, as you get more into it and more experience, that is something to take into mind, that is something you can remove. Because at any point in any given time, had she reached her limits,
she still has a
she
safe
still
word.
had
red.
Absolutely.
that would have absolutely ended everything. So it's not like Zorra was any harm or in any danger, but it also give her a different mindset. And like you said, allowed her to get deeper into subspace, which is where the submissives ultimately want to end up. So that's a great example.
The only other one I'll note as far as rules go is I have one of the same hard limits as you do. Don't tickle me. Don't even try.
Don't look like you're going to tickle him.
Exactly.
Right. Zorra, do you have any rules or anything that you have for Dante?
Do I have rules for him? I wouldn't say that I have rules for him. I do have things that I have asked and negotiated. For instance, things that are special that only he and I do.
Makes total sense.
And so a lot of times those are just things, as a woman, as a submissive, sometimes there's things that I just don't want to share with other people. That makes me feel more secure and special.
Secure is a big one.
Yeah, and it does help to just kind of calm my insecurities and things like that. So I wouldn't say that he doesn't have a set of rules like I have a set of rules, but he has respected things that I've asked to put boundaries on.
And we have done the same.
Right.
And it's taken, you don't realize sometimes you're going to hit one of those. And then suddenly you're feeling some sort of way.
Yes.
And you're sitting there going, I'm feeling insecure. It has nothing to do with anything you did, but I'm feeling kind of needy and off center.
That's where we found out real quick. One of the rules that we have, it's not in our contract, but she's the last one I play with. If we're out at a party or at the club or any of that,
even down here,
she is the last one that I play with, because immediately after she needs me there.
It's not about Lady D to be the last person you play with because of I'm your primary. I'm the last person. I don't care what you do before I'm the last person. It has a lot more to do with the
Sub-drop.
aftercare.
Aftercare, yes.
Sub-drop and
You need to be
aftercare.
Being
available
there.
for that.
Once again, that contract being a living document, things that need to change. There's been things where we've been going along and we've been, things are A, B, and C. That contract change that went through 4 rounds of corrections and change. That was something that was, like you said, not mad. Nothing had been violated within the contract, but all of a sudden there was something that was really just bothering me, and I needed it to be taken care of. And unfortunately, we just really had to go back and forth before we both could get what we needed from it.
Right.
But that also shows one of our biggest themes through this is communication, right?
Absolutely.
It took a lot of communication. It took a lot of back and forth. And, sometimes not everything is a 50-50 compromise.
No.
Sometimes you need someone to come towards you and say, you're not comfortable here, so I'm going to give you this.
Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, I feel like that's exactly what Sir Dante did for me. We went back and forth because I was so busy trying not to take something away, and he was the one that was saying, no, this is not going to be solved by us trying to divide this in half. Right. This is something that you need, and I want to give it to you.
And it's awesome.
And in that instance, he wasn't being a dom to a submissive. He was being a person to a person.
That's exactly what it was,
but
because
even
it wasn't
as a dominant, you do things
Correct.
for me because.
But in that instance, he didn't say, "I'm the dom, you're the submissive."
Oh,
This
right.
is
Right,
how
he
it's
didn't.
right to
He
be.
didn't. Yeah, that
He
was.
did not approach it. He listened to your concerns and your wants
But
and your
that
needs out
is
of that.
true dominance. Like, this is what people don't understand. Swinging your fists into your chest and being, I'm Mr. and you have to do this.
Do what I say no matter what. No, it's not like that.
It's
Right.
not like that. So
Absolutely
being a
not. So
true
that's-
dominant
right.
is
That is an
doing
absolute
just
thing.
what he did is he
Caring-
took care of you.
caring for your submissive, and sometimes that is, it's sacrifice. It's part of that full-time
Full-time.
job that you have.
Yep.
So.
Second full-time job.
I'm going to ask you, Zorra. We talked about you being collared.
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
As we say, this is my view on it. I tend to lean more toward a traditionalist view. And by the word traditionalist, I mean to say that in the big scope of BDSM, there tends to be two camps generally on issues out in the BDSM world. And a traditionalist view takes kind of more of this black and white, that there kind of is very much a definite meaning to things.
Right.
And then there's something called the new generation where those things are a whole lot more lax.
Yes, they are.
And meaning takes on a huge...
And there's no judgment.
Right.
But we're just a little bit different.
We're a little bit different. And a collar has always meant to me, it is a physical representation of a relationship between two parties.
Right.
I love collars, and I love what they mean. In the traditionalist view, though, it's not my collar.
Right.
Traditionalists tend to be very staunch on that It's as a submissive, it is not my collar. It belongs to Sir Dante. And he presented it to me. And when he presented me with his collar, I became his.
Right.
And so that's the symbol in all of that. I have two collars that Sir Dante has presented to me that are special to me.
You have both of them on right now?
I have both of them on right now. Once again, at Club Tempted. We love that place. It's full of all kinds of important events and times for us. This was where during our very first demonstration, an impact demonstration, Sir Dante had me bound to the cross, and it was the part where he was going to come and put the collar on me, and it was just a collar that went with the cuff set that we had. And he brought it and put it in front of my face, and then he threw it away. And I thought, uh-oh, what's going on?
What did I do?
And that's...
What infraction? No.
Oh, no, what did I do now? But instead, he put a collar in front of me. It's a play collar. It's inscribed with Sir's Fox over an orange and silver leather with black hardware. By the way, I love Fox. That's where that comes from.
Yes.
And this was a complete surprise to me. I didn't know that it was coming. And so he collared me and then did that demonstration. And I was there. Well, I was there with you.
Right.
I was there with a lot of friends. So that first collar was very special. And I love that it happened in a place that we love and it was surrounded by friends. Yep. But then at that dungeon opening, he presented me with a metal band. It's a day collar. For those who are not familiar, a day collar is typically a collar that's worn every day. My day collar is locked on. I can't take it off without permission of my sir, and it stays on. I wear it, I sleep in it, and It's always with me. I love that I can't look at myself in a mirror or a picture that I'm not reminded of his love and commitment toward me.
That's awesome.
Yep. What was your mindset, and what does that collar mean to you?
That was the perfect place, setup, time. I couldn't have planned it any better than I did to do that, not only for her, but in front of all our friends and community, to show the world essentially that this is us. She's mine. That's my fox. It's Sir's Fox, as it says on her collar. In the vanilla world, it's akin to a marriage or even like your wedding rings.
That was one of the examples I said. A lot of times a collar is the same as getting down on a knee and proposing to your partner.
From that moment on, that shows my commitment to her, our relationship, our DS dynamic, and I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. And again, we're a little extra, so we put on the show with it. And
nothing wrong with being extra. So how do you keep your submissive happy?
I fuck her well.
Without a doubt.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I can confirm that.
So you fuck well. What else do you do?
Obviously, there's a lot more to it. So I think the safety and security of our relationship, our openness, our trust, our honesty, our communication, a lot of these terms can be used in a vanilla relationship or regular marriage
100%.
or whatever. And giving that to her at the same time, giving her what she needs as a submissive, being a dominant is how I keep her happy.
I agree.
I don't think there's one specific thing that I can say, oh, yeah, there might be sexual things that make her happy or a certain toy or scenario or whatnot. Right. But it's the whole relationship and everything that goes into it, the effort and the genuineness of it. And we both want to live this. We knew before we even got together that we were kinky and our lifestyle is different and we want this for each other. I mean, going back to that last change request that Zorra was just talking about, I want to keep her safe. And this was something that change request was something we could not find a middle ground on. And at some point I was like, well, that's it. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And that's what it needed to maintain that level that we have with each other. That
the commitment,
the trust. And
so I think it would be saying, and again, I know that's a tricky question to ask. How do you keep somebody happy? And it would be hard for anybody to answer that for, like you said, one particular thing. But I think what's important there is you as a dominant and Zorra as your submissive, the communication between you two. She has told you what she wants. She's told you what she needs. She told you what she desires. And you take everything that she has said to you and you find a way to fit that into your all's relationship. And I think that is a big part in what keeps not only her happy, but also keeps you happy as well.
Right, because there's things I want out of it too. Right. So as far as the major things we each want out of it, we know what those are.
Yes.
We want that whole dynamic, the whole relationship, and some of our core values align. But within that, the little details in the contract, I'm not saying they're little in the sense of, there's little in the sense of the grand scheme of things. We can work through those.
Right.
We do work through those because we're looking at the bigger picture.
Exactly.
You know, with his words and his actions, he makes me a priority. And that's how I'm happy and how I feel safe in that.
Right.
So he does what he says.
Well, that is good. So we know out of all the scenes that we've seen, you're wonderful at impact and you do an awesome job with wax play and I've seen you fuck. So, you know,
it's amazing the kind of things we share here.
Right?
Of all of those
Best
things
of
that I know you do. But tell me, how do you dominate your submissive outside of the bedroom?
Well, I think I kind of mentioned some of it in not too much detail, but some of the tasks we have, there's actually picture task specifically after a scene, an impact scene, where she has to send me a picture 24 hours. Actually, if you read it word for word, it's 16 to 24 hours after.
I think we was a part.
We were a part of one.
Yes. One of those
I did. I
24
needed a
hours.
24-hour.
And you were, I think you were a little bit late, and so you got all of our asses involved.
I did. I put more than just my ass in the
I
picture,
actually
and that
have that
saved my ass that night. Yes.
I have that picture of.
So he's black and white,
7
but
or
there's
8.
sometimes that if she goes above and
He
beyond
always tells me, he's like, I am always open to negotiation.
Always.
So absolutely. Yeah. So
that
I negotiated well that night.
One. That was a good night.
And then I think y'all seen at one of the parties we had or one of the nights at Club Tempton, the VIP, the expected behavior at a party or a kink event.
Right.
There's an expectation for behavior. And if she doesn't maintain that, she knows what the repercussions are.
I will say this was something that we literally had to talk about and put down strongly into our contract. I had taken off my play collar because I was trying to get under his skin. And Dante and I tend to play quite hard when we play with each other. We really like to push the boundaries.
Yes.
We like to try to get each other's goat a lot. And I did that because it was later in the night and I just was going to be like, I don't even know if you're even going to notice.
Right.
And so anyways,
I think at one point you said that to me.
I said, I don't even think he's going to notice. Once again, I respect him because he does what he says. And that was something we actually, once again, had to negotiate on. He said, look, I understand why you were doing that. I understand that you were playing with me, but that is not going to be acceptable from here on out. Your collar is not something.
Especially since it's not your collar.
Yes, your collar is not something that you are going to play with. You're not going to. It's not something to jest with.
Other people cannot touch it.
And
I mean, you
exactly.
guys have.
We have very strict rules about it because they belong to him.
And this was before, I think, the whole contract.
It was something that we very much had to talk about, and it of course went
And
into
just
the
for
contract.
the listeners on how serious Sir Dante is with his collar, the very first time I had the privilege of playing with Miss Zorra, that was one of the rules that he told me, because as DOMs, when we do switch partners like this in scenes and BDSM, I mean, we have a communication. So we had a communication prior to me playing with Zorra, and that was me getting the understanding and the rules and the expectations from Dante. And that was one of the very first things he said was, don't play with the collar. If you touch it, brush up against it or accidentally touch it, that's fine. But I do not want you grabbing it or pulling on it or choking her with it or any of that. There just goes to show how special that is. Talking about punishments, from that night, Sir Dante, do you do punishments or are they strictly punishments?
Do you do punishments?
Do I do punishments?
Let me jump in here. No.
Yeah, she answered it a lot more concisely than I was going to. But essentially, no, we don't really have punishments.
Don't have punishments.
Now, we do have a lot of back and forth, so maybe something
It's kind
you
of a
would
plan.
give Lady D a punishment for.
Right.
We just kind of take in stride, and we go kind of back and forth with each other on that in a very playful,
Gotcha.
sassy, fun-loving, I guess, kind of way.
Gotcha. So is there different levels of infractions
Yes.
due to the punishments?
It's very clear.
Because you have it in the contract.
It's in the contract. If I fail at this is the punishment.
This is the punishment. It's spelled out for you.
It's spelled out. And
Again, shut up.
it is spelled out. It is spelled out, Lady D.
Do you realize that you guys are screwing up my life?
Well, we're just telling our little secret.
I'm just trying to help make him a better Dom, that's all.
And I'm sitting over here taking notes on my laptop.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, there's levels to it. And like she said, some rules that are broken have specific punishments. But I know I say black and white a lot, but there's actually some gray area because there's rules around how sassy she's allowed to be.
Because you like the sass.
Right,
You do
right.
not want somebody
I
who
don't want
just
a wet
submits
rag,
to you all the time because that would not make you as a Dom happy.
So one thing, how I kind of put my dominance on that is I allow her to do that, but there's nothing that says this is too much.
Right. So you just kind of
So
have
it's
to
up
give
to her. Yeah,
Right.
you give her that rope. She doesn't know when I'm going to pull back.
Right.
She will know after the fact.
I mean,
That's
I've
in her
seen her
head.
sass.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's in her head. How far can I really go before
Right.
it's too much?
And that's fun for you too, isn't
It's
it?
a game.
It is. It's very much a game. We enjoy, we'll be talking and something will inspire us. And then all of a sudden a challenge is set for the week, whatever that challenge might be. And we literally will come up with, okay, if I win, this is what I get. If you win, this is what you get. So we enjoy that. And of course, what good is a game if you don't have a little bit of smack talk? So we call that, in our dynamic, we call that sass. And just like we said, just because you're a submissive doesn't mean that you're quiet and demure.
Right.
And you don't have a backbone. that you
Exactly.
don't-
And
Oh, you're none of that stuff. I'm sorry.
but Sir
Let me just interject again.
yes.
You're none of those
Thank
things.
you. Sir Dante absolutely enjoys the back and forth with me, but also with others that we play with and talk to. We tend to be a lively bunch, don't we, Misty? So, yeah, I mean, so absolutely. However, there is a limit.
Right.
And sometimes the fun is finding out where it is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I will say this, though. The bratty behavior is not tolerated. And bratty behavior for us is anything that is just absolutely disrespectful or anything that goes against our rules. That once again, even though we have fun, there's a line. I cannot be disrespectful, and I cannot take something that he has issued me to do, like a rule that we have or something that he's asked me to do. I can't just decide to keep being sassy or not respect that. That's the line. And that's when bratty behavior is when you're being defiant and you're, in essence, not being submissive.
The next question, I guess, would be, do you get rewards? Okay, do you give rewards?
But I don't know how to word it because it's like...
you give me chances to win. I feel like when it comes to, like I said, meaningful rewards, like obviously I have punishments, but there are some.
There's not like a reward system.
We don't have like a shop where I can go take points and go shopping or anything like that. But
what I did want to say was the reward is the dynamic and the scenes and the impact and the fun. Because that's not what you were really talking about.
If that's what it is for you guys, and it sounds like that is, then that would be your answer.
So has there ever been a time that you come in, you look and you say, okay, Zorra, you've been a good girl. Let's blank.
I don't even call her a good girl very often.
I work
not because she's not.
I do work for that. But once again, I guess the rewards come in these games that I'm allowed to play with him. Okay. And so, for instance, we played a game and we literally made fake money and we played games to win that money. And then with that money, we had actually each gone and given each other a list of experiences, things that we wanted. And then with the money that we won during the games, we could buy those experiences from each other. So I won a sushi dinner because sushi is not Sir Dante's favorite thing. So I won that because I love sushi.
There you go.
I also won a girls' night, which I have yet to redeem, but I've won a girls' night where my sir gets to serve my girlfriends.
Ooh.
Not be submissive.
There's nothing
but get to
But
serve.
you're going to prepare the food. You'll bring the food to
them.
And
that's awesome.
And he will serve them and pleasure them in whatever way they desire.
I'm going to have to stop you there because now you're giving her ideas here.
Yeah, we do not want my husband cooking.
Hey, I can make you a hell of a peanut butter sandwich.
You want to come help me that night?
We might could swing something.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It could be a girls' night for them, and and me and you could chill when they don't need nothing.
We need a couple more women.
Probably,
I mean, you can't.
Oh yeah, no, there's going to be more than the two of us, definitely. Right. But we're going to enjoy it. I do get rewards, and a lot of it though is these games that we play, which I very much enjoy in our dynamic.
Oh, that's awesome.
What is something that you guys? And I don't care who answers, so maybe the person who has all the words.
Maybe you should have put buzzers out here for us to answer these questions.
Next episode, I'm going to have buzzers. What is something you want to learn more of? You've been in the lifestyle for several years. You're in a DS relationship. What is something that you're interested in learning more about?
Two things that we've talked about wanting to do next is shibari.
Yes.
Same.
I bought her some rope for Christmas, so we have quite a bit of it.
When we were in Cincinnati, we were in that one. We went together to the one class where they were doing stuff, and it's yes.
So that's on the list, and then needle play is something she really wants.
Really,
I'm a little more. I'm a little squeamish about it, but it's definitely something I'm willing to try with her and see where I might like it.
Right. Did you like the wax play?
Oh yes, yes.
Say wax is one of our favorites. It's such a great sensation, especially after a good impact session.
So as far as like kind of play we want to do, those would be the top two things right now. And then ultimately, we want to have a house with other dominants and submissives and people in the kink world where we build our own little community, our own house, and the house has rules and stipulations, and we're helping each other grow and keeping each other accountable and going to more events together.
Right.
So that's definitely something that is on the table.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Okay, do you have anything,
Miss
Zorra?
So Sir Dante doesn't know I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say that something that I would like to look into is actually pet play. Now, we're all going to laugh because I'm not lying.
Pulling my chain.
Here's the thing. Sir Dante is the one that first showed interest in this, playing with a kitten and things like that. And at first, this made me laugh hysterically.
Right.
My mind could not wrap around it. But I knew this was something that my partner was interested in. So what I decided to do was get busy and help him with that.
Okay.
So I got on Temu and I ordered cat masks, and I ordered a bell collar. I ordered a bowl. I even ordered him a shirt that says Good Kitty on it. Okay.
Ooh.
So I was like, this is something that my partner wants. So I'm going to show my support by helping. And there was one night that he had the opportunity to play with a kitten. And I thought, you know what he needs? He needs a cage. So I got on Facebook Marketplace real quick, like within 24 hours of this. And I was able to find a cage. I was able to sneak it down into the dungeon when he wasn't looking. And then that night when we went down to play, I was able to give it to him. And we've had some fun with that cage since then. But but not only that, I also researched, like, what do you actually do when you play with a pet or a kitten? What are some of the things that they like to do? In actually wanting to be a better partner and helping him with it, there are some aspects of it that I'm like, I think I could actually kind of get into this. So that's something that I'm looking at. That's something that's new. I know that I have been a staunch, like, no, never, not me before, but actually researching it and looking into it a little bit, I think I might want to give that a try.
It intrigues you just enough.
It intrigues me just enough to want to try it.
That's the beautiful part about BDSM. You have just a little bit of inclination or being intrigued about something and experiencing it.
And the great thing about it is go do something. Go do it with everything that you have. And then when you're done, you're going to either have something new that you enjoy, or you're going to know that it's not for you because you tried it.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank both of you all very much for coming here, for doing our podcast. I've had an absolute blast.
This has been amazing.
Yay, we got to spend time with our friends.
So much fun. We've got to learn, although we've known each other for 2 years now, I honestly feel that we have learned more about you all, and it's definitely got my mind going again to try to improve.
Talking about the contracts.
Maybe we get a little bit of that extra sauce and start dipping it on some of our stuff that we dabble in the lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But again, thank you all very much. And first of many podcasts that I do know that you all are going to be on, one of the future podcasts, Scene Creation. Just so you know, Sir Dante has a mind that thinks like no other when it comes to preparing and creating a scene, the mind that you have for punishments.
I mean, even the games you guys were talking about in this episode, same thing.
So that is definitely something we will have you all back on to discuss. Coming up on our next episode,
Dungeon Play.
We get together with Sir Dante and Zorra in our dungeon and have a play date.
Ooh. I think this is a good time to bring up that there's times when you miss swing or maybe go lighter or harder than expected, and it's going to happen. I mean,
or you don't hit as flat as you want to. You kind of hit on one side or another, and it does happen. But in an instance like this, you told her 3, you give her the 3 spots, so the second one wasn't as powerful as you wanted, but it still
counts. Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah. So we like to call it, she got lucky.
She got lucky on that.
She got lucky. I won't make the same mistake twice in a row.
Will lightning strike twice? That's what I want to know. No, it did not.
Oh. That hurt. Oh, that hurt.